Welcome to the Militia Gaming community. I'm Trigger, and today I'm going to show you the fastest farming method for legendary parts for your Street 1 and Street 2 vehicles in the Crew Motorfest. Let's go! So there's a lot of different legendary parts with a bunch of different affixes and a bunch of different set bonuses. So I've built a tool that you guys can use to track all of your legendaries if you want to. I put a link in the description down below. It's a Google Sheet that you can make a copy of and then edit for yourself, but just make sure you're not editing the public sheet. Make sure you go to File and then make a copy and then use it for yourself. It's just a blank template for you to track which legendaries you have and which ones you don't have for each of the vehicle classes. And I'm still working on the bottom section of that with the planes and the boats. So just keep in mind, this is something you can use and edit to your liking. All right, let's get into this. First, you should put all of your legend points into Goldfinger or Lucky. And if you don't have any legend points, it's okay. But if you do have them, make sure that you clear your page and then put all of them into Goldfinger or Lucky. I use Goldfinger on my grind, but you can use Lucky as well. Just read the bonuses and decide which one you would like to use best. To do that, head to your driver, then click on legend points, and then spend whatever you have on one of those affixes. That will give you a nice little bonus across the board for all vehicles. Alright, so here's the race that you want to use in order to grind up your parts. This was recommended to me by a player named OzFH. This player is one of the best players in the Crew 2 and definitely one of the best in Motorfest so far. This player is absolutely amazing, and I'm totally appreciative of the fact that he shared this method with me. So please go to the link in the description, follow his channel. He's got a YouTube channel as well. Again, one of the fastest and best players in the game. The race you're looking for is on the Liberty Walk playlist. It's called Groundworks. It's the very first race, and it rewards the most number of parts. It actually rewards, I believe, double what the other races reward because you have a car switch in the middle of the race. Now for this, obviously you're going to be doing a custom car because you want to be able to use your car with your parts on it. So to do that, go to the start of the race, open up the menu and switch it to custom. I also switch it to clean driving just because why not take the money bonus as well, and then go up to the top, change your car to the car that you want to use, and you should be off and running. If you change the difficulty, that does not affect your parts. It only affects your experience for the game. It will only give you more experience or less experience based on your difficulty. So that's something that's totally up to you. If you want to run a higher difficulty, go ahead. If you want to run a low difficulty to make it easy on yourself, you can do that as well. Now this race can reward you up to 14 parts. It's not going to give you 14 golds, but it'll give you 14 parts, which is really nice on this grind because you'll always have extra spare parts that you can use to re-roll your affixes. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to get into it in just a second. Now for me, I've received up to 4 golds in one race, and that has happened multiple times during this grind. It's not standard. Most of the time you either get 1 or 2, and sometimes you get none, and that's just part of this entire process. RNG is a huge factor in this. It takes somewhere between 3.5 minutes to 4 minutes on average to finish this race, so it's pretty quick. It's not super long, and you can retry right away after seeing what parts you've got. Alright, now for step 1 of the actual method. You need to get to max level in whichever Street 1 or Street 2 you're going for. This race will absolutely help you do that because of the sheer number of rewards you get. Like I said earlier, the rewards double based on the fact that you have to switch cars mid-race. So the best thing to do is to equip your parts each time after you race so that your race times get faster and faster, which helps reduce the overall time. Once you hit max performance level, it's time to move on to step number 2. Step 2 is to re-roll for Lucky and Goldfinger and get all gold parts. Every time that you get a max level part, you should attempt to re-roll that affix stat so that you can get Lucky or Goldfinger on those parts. On the blue parts, you're only going to have one affix stat. I say go for Lucky. If you only have one, go for Lucky. On the purple parts, try for both Lucky and Goldfinger. And when you start to get legendaries, obviously you want both Lucky and Goldfinger. At this point in the process, the set bonus itself doesn't matter too much until you have a full set. So make sure you're using the parts that you've been re-rolling and not accidentally equipping a gold part just because it's gold over a purple part when the purple part has Lucky and Goldfinger. The biggest thing here is to have the max bonus for Lucky and Goldfinger that you can get. Now keep in mind, each level of part, blue, purple, gold, gives you different percentages towards your Lucky and your Goldfinger. Gold parts will give you a higher percentage for Lucky and Goldfinger than a blue or a purple part. So if you do have a legendary, you're going to want to try to re-roll that to Lucky and Goldfinger because that will give you a higher bonus, thus giving you a better chance for golds in the future. But once you've gotten 7 gold parts, and you've re-rolled all of them to have Lucky and Goldfinger, and those stats are completely maxed out, then you can move on to step 3. But let's talk about re-rolling real quick because some people are new to the game and they don't understand what I'm talking about. When you click on a part, you'll see in the bottom left corner, you can go to the affix stats, click that, and then you have either 1 or 2 options there on that part. This is like your additional bonus for using that part. You can re-roll that by pressing A on Xbox or X on PlayStation. What that does is give you 3 options to change that affix on that part. You can either take what you already have, which is at the bottom. You can take the new percentage of the same affix in the middle, or you can have a completely new, different affix. So like I said, what you're trying to do is you're trying to re-roll these in order to get Goldfinger and Lucky, and then once you get Goldfinger and Lucky, you re-roll them trying to get the highest percentage, and it shows you right there on that box what percentage is max. It'll say on Goldfinger, let's say 2% to 6% for legendaries. Lucky is 14% to 25.5% for legendaries. So if you have 7 full legendary parts and you've re-rolled them to have Goldfinger and Lucky, and it's the max percentage, you're looking at 42% bonus for Goldfinger and 178.5% for Lucky. Once you get to that point, you can move on to step 3, which is to grind. Now this is the part where I can't really tell you how fast you're going to be able to do this. You're just going to have to keep racing this race over and over again. You should be getting 14 parts every single time, and you should probably be getting 1 to 2 legendaries every time, with the occasional 3 or 4. With really good RNG, I've heard people who have gotten a full Nitro Chemist set within 1 hour of reaching step 3. Unfortunately for me, it took about 4 hours. It's completely random, and when you get down to the very last part that you really need, you have to get lucky. You're asking this game to first reward you with a legendary, and then it has to be exactly the correct set bonus that you're looking for. So it does become a little bit difficult at the end, but it took me around 4 hours to get a full Nitro Chemist set, which is the one set that I was shooting for. But in the process, check out this screenshot of all of the legendary parts that I actually earned in the process. So I was shooting for this one set, and that's why it took me 4 hours. But in the process, I also got a full set of score breaker parts and a full set of XP magnet parts. Now I don't think I'm going to be using the XP magnet that much, but Score Breaker is a very, very good set to have, especially when it comes to summits and other events like that. So the moral of the story is you definitely have to keep doing this race over and over again. Yes, it's a grind if your goal is to get all of the legendaries. Also, keep in mind, you don't have to do this at all. You could use every single portion of this method and just race any Street 2 race that you want, so long as you're using that car with those parts, and this method will help you gain legendaries. However, if you want to grind the heck out of this and get your parts right away, you should definitely be doing the Groundworks race on the Liberty Walk playlist because it rewards you the most number of parts. All right. Hopefully this has helped. If I've overlooked anything, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. Also, send me a DM if you have any questions about this method. My DMs are open to literally everybody on Instagram, Twitter, and Discord, and I check them regularly. Instagram being the best one for me because that's the one I check the most. However, you can send me a message on whichever platform works for you. I really appreciate you guys watching the video. Thank you so much, and I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.